Have you ever noticed how tired you feel from trying to fix everyone else? You listen, you give, you sacrifice, you hold things together when they're falling apart. And yet, when you need help, silence, no one comes. You start to realize that being the strong one comes with an invisible price. Loneliness. It's not because people are cruel. It's because the world rewards what it can take from you, not what it can give back. And for years, you've played the role, the rescuer, the reliable one, the problem solver. But what happens when the hero gets tired? That's where Stoicism begins, not in glory, but in exhaustion. In that moment when you whisper to yourself, "I can't keep doing this," and the Stoics would say, "You're finally waking up." Because the truth is brutal but freeing. No one is coming to save you. And that's not a curse. It's the beginning of your real strength. You didn't choose to be the hero. Life trained you to be one. Maybe it started in childhood, when you learned that love had to be earned. Maybe it was in your career, when people praised you only when you solved their problems. Somewhere along the way, you were taught that your value depends on how useful you are to others. So you learn to anticipate everyone's needs, to keep the peace, to fix, rescue, explain, endure. And even when you were drowning, you smiled. Because the hero doesn't break character, but deep down, that constant giving became a quiet prison. You started losing touch with yourself, your wants, your limits, your peace. And here's the paradox. The more you tried to save others, the more invisible you became. Because people stopped seeing you as human. They saw you as reliable. Seneca once wrote, "He who needs nothing is most like the gods." He didn't mean to stop caring. He meant, free yourself from the illusion that others can complete you. When you depend on their approval or gratitude, you give them the keys to your peace. So before you can save anyone, you have to stop abandoning yourself. That's where the healing begins. The Stoics would tell you, stop trying to be everyone's savior. Start being your own leader. Marcus Aurelius faced a collapsing empire. Seneca mentored a ruthless emperor. Epictetus was once a slave. None of them waited for someone to rescue them. They understood something we often forget. Strength isn't built by being needed. It's built by being grounded. When you stop trying to save everyone, you don't become cold. You become clear. You begin to see what's actually within your control. Your mind, your reactions, your choices. And that realization changes everything. You start to realize you can't control how others treat you, but you can control how long you allow it. You can't stop people from disappointing you, but you can stop expecting them to act differently. You can't fix everyone's chaos, but you can choose peace within your own boundaries. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That's the shift from the hero who rescues to the human who leads. Leadership isn't about carrying others. It's about standing so firmly in your own truth that others feel safe enough to stand beside you. And the moment you stop chasing approval, something miraculous happens. People start respecting you more, because confidence always speaks louder than desperate effort. When you finally stop trying to save everyone, the first thing you feel isn't peace, it's guilt. You'll think, am I being selfish, cold and caring? Because for years, your worth was tied to being needed. But that guilt is just the echo of your old conditioning fading away. Then, something subtle starts to shift. You wake up one morning, and you don't feel the same weight on your chest. You look round and realize the world didn't collapse when you stopped overextending yourself. In fact, people begin to adapt. They start taking responsibility for their own lives. You begin to see the truth that the Stoics lived by, that every person must carry their own burden. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That means live your philosophy. Lead by example, not by control, not by sacrifice, but by quiet strength. When you let go of the hero complex, you discover something even more powerful: peace. Not the kind of peace that hides from the world, but the kind that stands calmly in the middle of it. You are no longer driven by obligation or fear of letting others down. You act from clarity, from choice, and that's what makes you truly strong. Not your ability to carry everyone else, but your courage to finally carry yourself. Every person eventually faces that moment when the world goes quiet. No one returns your calls. No one notices the effort you're making. You realize, sometimes painfully, that people move on, even when you're still stuck in the storm. That's when the Stoics become not just relevant, but necessary, because they spoke from the same place you're standing now, that edge between despair and awakening. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations while leading Rome through war, plague, and betrayal. He didn't write it for fame or followers. He wrote it because he needed to keep himself sane. He was surrounded by chaos and disloyalty, yet he found stillness within himself. And that's the essence of Stoicism, realizing that peace doesn't come when life is easy. It comes when you stop waiting for someone to rescue you and start learning to rescue your own mind. The world will always be unstable. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. But once you stop depending on others for your balance, you begin to discover something unshakable: yourself. This is what the Stoics called in a citadel, the fortress within that nothing external can breach. And once you build it, the world can shake, but you remain standing. Marcus Aurelius called it the inner citadel, a fortress built not of stone, but of discipline and clarity. He believed that inside every human being lies a place that no insult, no betrayal, and no loss can touch. But most of us never find it, because we spend our lives defending the wrong walls. We protect our reputation, our possessions, our relationships, and we think those things make us secure until they crumble. Then, we're left defenseless, wondering why the world feels so cruel. Marcus faced it all: plague, death, rebellion, and the constant threat of assassination. Yet, he didn't beg for pity. He wrote instead, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the heart of Stoic self-reliance. It's not about isolating yourself from the world. It's about remembering that your peace is not up for negotiation. You may lose everything: friends, money, status. But as long as you keep your composure, you've lost nothing that truly matters. When you stand inside that inner citadel, the noise outside becomes irrelevant. You don't chase validation, because your worth is no longer up for sale. You stop proving, explaining, defending, and that silence, that grounded calm, becomes your new language of power. Because true heroes, as Marcus knew, don't fight to be seen. They fight to remain centered. Seneca lived a life surrounded by power, luxury, and danger. Advisor to Emperor Nero, one of Rome's most unpredictable rulers. He had wealth, influence, and prestige. But he also knew how fragile it all was. One command from Nero, and everything he built could vanish. So Seneca practiced something radical: detachment. Not indifference, but awareness. He wrote, "He who's brave is free." And what he meant was this: the one who can lose without falling apart gains true freedom. You see, we spend most of our lives clutching, holding onto jobs, relationships, opinions, identities, terrified of what happens if we let go. But the Stoics knew that clinging is the root of suffering, because when you depend on something unstable for your peace, you become unstable with it. Seneca taught that peace begins not when you gain more, but when you stop being ruled by what you fear to lose. He would ask his students to imagine losing what they love: not to create pain, but to prepare the heart for life's changes. This practice, known as premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of loss, builds resilience. It reminds you that nothing external is truly yours, not people, not possessions, not praise. And when you accept that, you stop panicking when life shifts. You become calm in the face of endings, because you no longer see them as failures. You see them as part of the flow of nature itself. That's the quiet courage Seneca mastered, the art of letting go before the world forces you to. If Marcus Aurelius was the emperor who ruled with wisdom, and Seneca the philosopher who learned to let go, then Epictetus was the one who proved that freedom has nothing to do with circumstance. He was born a slave, beaten, humiliated, owned. Yet he became one of the greatest teachers of human strength the world has ever known. Because while others controlled his body, no one ever controlled his mind. Epictetus taught a truth that still cuts through the noise of modern life. No man is free unless he is master of himself. He believed that the highest power doesn't come from dominating others, but from mastering your own reactions, your anger, your impulses, your fear. And this, he said, is the only real control any of us will ever have. Not over fortune, not over other people, not even over our health or our time, but over how we choose to meet each moment. Think about that for a second. In a world obsessed with control, controlling outcomes, perceptions, and people, Epictetus reminds us that peace begins when you stop fighting what's outside your reach. When someone insults you, you can't stop their words, but you can stop them from entering your heart. When life doesn't go as planned, you can't erase the event, but you can decide whether it breaks you or builds you. This is what Stoics call the dichotomy of control, the line that separates freedom from frustration. The more you focus on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, your discipline, the less the outside world can shake you. That's how a slave became freer than the emperor who owned him. 2,000 years later, humanity hasn't changed much. We may no longer live in Roman palaces or serve emperors, but we still kneel before the same invisible masters: fear, approval, and the hope that someone will fix our pain for us. We wait for a promotion to make us feel worthy, for love to make us feel whole, for validation to prove that our effort matters. And every time life disappoints us, we call it unfair, when in truth, it's just revealing how much power we've handed away. The modern world feeds that illusion. Social media sells the dream that someone out there, a mentor, a partner, a system, will give us meaning. But meaning was never something to be given. It's something you build. One small, disciplined act at a time. The Stoics understood that waiting to be saved is a form of spiritual laziness. It's the refusal to face the uncomfortable truth that you are responsible for your own freedom. Marcus Aurelius faced constant betrayal, but never complained. Seneca faced death, but met it calmly. Epictetus faced slavery, but rose above it. And we, in our comfort, crumble at an unkind comment or a missed message. Maybe it's not that life has become harder. Maybe we've become softer, too distracted, too dependent, too unwilling to sit with discomfort long enough to grow. That's why Stoicism still matters today. Because it's not a philosophy of escape. It's a philosophy of endurance. It doesn't promise that the world will get easier. It promises that you will get stronger. And once you accept that no one is coming to save you, you stop waiting and start living. There's a quiet moment that comes after the breakdown, the moment when you stop asking why me and start asking what now. That's the threshold where your transformation begins. The Stoics would say, don't wait for courage. Act your way into it, because strength isn't something you find. It's something you build through consistent discipline. Here's where the real work starts. First, accept what is. Stop resisting reality. The more you fight it, the more power it has over you. Seneca said, "A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be." Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means seeing clearly. Only when you stop denying the storm can you learn how to sail through it. Second, define what you can control. Write it down if you must. Your reactions, your daily routines, your words, that's your territory. Everything else, leave it. Epictetus reminded his students daily, some things are up to us, some are not. Peace begins the moment you stop confusing the two. Third, rebuild through small, steady acts of strength. Wake up earlier. Hold your temper when you want to lash out. Finish what you start. Each act of discipline adds another brick to your inner fortress, your citadel, as Marcus Aurelius called it. Because the truth is, no one else can give you peace, focus, or respect. You have to earn those through the way you live. And once you do, you realize that you never needed saving. You only needed reminding of who you already are. That's the quiet revolution of Stoicism. You stop being a victim of life and start becoming its student. When you stop waiting for someone to save you, life becomes both heavier and lighter at the same time. Heavier because you finally accept full responsibility for everything you can control. Lighter because you stop carrying the impossible burden of controlling what you can't. This is the paradox of freedom. It's not found in comfort or convenience, but in ownership. When you stop outsourcing your peace, you stop being a prisoner of circumstance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." In other words, your life will always rise or fall to the level of what you pursue daily. If you chase validation, you will live on emotional debt. If you chase mastery, you will build unshakable peace. The Stoic path doesn't promise glory. It doesn't guarantee success, wealth, or admiration. It simply offers you something far rarer, self-respect. The kind that stays with you when no one's watching. The kind that whispers, "You stood firm when the world tried to shake you." You stop needing applause because you've learned to be your own witness. You stop craving rescue because you've learned to rescue your mind before it drowns. You stop fearing solitude because you finally understand. You are never truly alone when you are present with yourself. This is what it means to stop being the hero. It's not about walking away from others. It's about walking toward yourself. Because the one you've been waiting for, the one who will save you, has been here all along. And he's been waiting for you to finally take his hand. If you've stayed until now, it means something in this message spoke to you. Maybe it's because you've carried too much for too long. The weight of expectations, of helping others, of trying to hold everything together while slowly unraveling inside. You've probably learned the hard way that being the strong one doesn't mean you're unbreakable. It just means you've mastered the art of hiding the cracks. But here's what Stoicism teaches us. Those cracks are where wisdom enters. In this journey, we've walked through three great teachers, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, each showing a different side of what it means to live without needing rescue. Marcus taught us that peace is found within the inner citadel, where no external chaos can reach. Seneca showed us the freedom that comes from letting go of attachment, fear, and illusion. Epictetus revealed the core truth that mastery of the self is the only real control we'll ever have together. Their teachings point to one powerful truth. You can't save the world until you learn how to stand on your own feet. And once you do, the world changes, not because it becomes easier, but because you become stronger. So before moving forward, take a breath. You've already begun the journey the Stoics spoke of, the path from dependency to self-mastery. Every Stoic teaching, from Epictetus to Marcus Aurelius, begins with one timeless truth. You must know what is within your control, and what is not. It sounds simple. Almost too simple. But it's the difference between living in constant frustration and living in quiet strength. Think about how much energy we waste trying to rewrite things that are already written. Other people's opinions, the past, our circumstances, even the way the world works. And every time we fight against reality, we suffer twice. Once from the event itself, and again from our resistance to it. Epictetus used to tell his students, some things are up to us, some are not. He made them repeat it until they understood. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices, they are yours. But the weather, the markets, other people's moods, or fate, those never were. Marcus Aurelius lived this principle every day. While others panicked during war and plague, he focused on what he could control: his mind, his duty, his character. He wrote, "If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. That's not coldness. It's courage. It's the kind of discipline that modern life desperately lacks. When you stop fighting what you can't control, you free yourself from the illusion of helplessness. You stop being tossed around by every small problem, every rude comment, every delay or disappointment. You begin to see clearly. Peace isn't something you chase. It's something you protect by mastering where your attention goes. That's how Stoicism turns everyday chaos into quiet strength. One of the biggest misconceptions about Stoicism that it teaches you to stop feeling. That's not true. Stoicism doesn't kill emotion, it refines it. It teaches you to feel deeply, but not be ruled by what you feel. Seneca understood this better than anyone. He lived surrounded by excess, wealth, luxury, politics, and yet he practiced something that made him free from it all: detachment. He wrote, "He suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary." What did he mean? He meant that we create most of our pain not from what happens to us, but from our refusal to let go. We cling to relationships that have already ended. We replay conversations that can't be changed. We resist the truth because we're afraid of who will be without what we've lost. Detachment, in the Stoic sense, isn't coldness. It's clarity. It's the ability to stand in the middle of your emotions and say, "I see you, I understand you, but you don't command me." In a world that glorifies reaction, instant outrage, constant comparison, endless noise, detachment becomes an act of rebellion. It's how you protect your mind in a time when everything is designed to provoke it. When you practice detachment, you're not withdrawing from life. You're actually engaging with it more honestly. You stop pretending that things last forever and start appreciating them precisely because they don't. And once you learn that lesson, you start to live lighter, not because you care less, but because you finally care wisely. Epictetus used to tell his students, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." And that one sentence captures everything the Stoics believed about strength. Because wisdom without discipline is just decoration. You can read every book, quote every philosopher, and still live in chaos if you don't practice what you know. The Stoics didn't preach comfort. They practiced consistency. They believed that discipline, not talent, luck, or motivation, was the bridge between knowing and becoming. Modern life has confused freedom with indulgence. We think doing whatever we want makes us free, but the Stoics saw it differently. Freedom isn't doing what you want. It's having the strength to say no to what weakens you. Marcus Aurelius woke before dawn to write, meditate, and prepare his mind for the day. He didn't do it because he enjoyed it. He did it because he needed it. He wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I am rising to do the work of a human being.'" That's what Stoic discipline looks like. You don't wait to feel ready. You move because your principles demand it. You don't chase motivation, you build momentum. You don't escape difficulty, you train within it. Discipline is what turns Stoicism from a philosophy into a way of life. It's the daily act of proving to yourself that your mind belongs to you. And the more you practice it, the quieter your fears become. Because fear has no power over someone who follows through. That's the real strength Stoicism builds. Not perfection, but mastery through repetition. By now, you understand that no one is coming to save you. And strangely, that realization doesn't make you weaker. It makes you unbreakable. The world doesn't need more heroes who sacrifice themselves to please others. It needs grounded people. Those who stay calm when others panic. Who act with integrity when no one is watching. Who build peace instead of chasing validation. That's what it means to be the hero within. Not the one who rescues everyone else, but the one who rescues their own mind from chaos. Epictetus called it the art of living. He said, "Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish, but wish for everything to happen as it does, and your life will flow well." In that single line lies the whole Stoic path: acceptance, strength, and grace. Here's how it looks in daily life. When someone disrespects you, you don't argue. You demonstrate self-respect through silence. When plans fail, you don't collapse. You adapt. Knowing every obstacle is fuel for growth. When life feels uncertain, you don't panic. You return to your inner citadel and breathe. You stop performing strength and start living it. Your calm becomes contagious. Your restraint becomes your armor. Your self-respect becomes the quiet revolution that changes how others treat you. And as you live this way, you realize something profound. You never needed to be saved. You just needed to remember everything you were looking for in others was already waiting inside you. That's what Stoicism has always been about. Not escape, not perfection, but courage. The courage to meet life as it is and remain unshaken. So let's take a step back. You began this journey believing that strength meant saving others, that your worth depended on being needed, admired, or approved of. But now, you see what the Stoics saw clearly. That freedom begins the moment you stop chasing external rescue and start taking internal responsibility. Marcus Aurelius built his inner citadel in chaos. Seneca learned peace through loss. Epictetus found freedom in slavery. Each of them faced what most people fear, powerlessness, and turned it into wisdom. And that's what this video was about. Not self-help, not motivation, but remembering that you are capable of guiding yourself through anything life brings. The Stoics didn't want followers. They wanted thinkers, people who could hold steady when the world trembles. And that's what you're becoming. So the next time you feel abandoned, betrayed, or unseen, remember this: it's not the world turning its back on you. It's life inviting you to finally meet yourself. That's the quiet invitation Stoicism offers. Stop waiting for someone to hand you peace. Start building it. One thought, one act, one breath at a time. Standing alone is not the tragedy people make it out to be. It's the birthplace of self-respect, the forge where character is tempered, and the space where you finally hear your own voice again. The world will tell you that you need to be surrounded to be strong, but the Stoics would say strength begins in solitude. Marcus Aurelius spent nights in his tent, writing to himself because there was no one else he could truly speak to. Seneca faced death with calm acceptance, proving that courage needs no audience. And Epictetus, once a slave, found freedom not through rebellion, but through mastery of his own mind. You might not be facing war, or exile, or chains, but your battles are no less real. Maybe your loneliness comes from giving too much. Maybe your exhaustion comes from trying to hold together people who never learned to stand on their own. And maybe, deep down, You've always feared what would happen if you stopped trying to be the hero. Here's the truth. When you stop rescuing others, you start rebuilding yourself. You begin to see your solitude not as punishment, but as preparation, a sacred space where you become someone no one can break again. That's what standing alone means. Not isolation, not indifference, but the quiet discovery of your own power. The one that doesn't need applause, permission, or rescue. Because the moment you stop needing to be saved, you finally start living free. If this message spoke to you, even a little, then take a moment before the noise of the world returns. Ask yourself quietly, what am I still waiting for someone else to do for me? To love me, to understand me, to fix me? And what would happen if I stopped waiting and started doing those things for myself? That's the real test of Stoicism. Not how well you quote Marcus Aurelius, but how you live when no one is clapping. Not how calm you seem online, but how centered you remain when life unravels behind the scenes. You don't need to become a philosopher or a monk. You just need to practice in the small, ordinary moments where real strength is built. When you forgive quietly, when you stay calm instead of reacting, when you choose to walk away instead of proving a point, those are victories to dot. So here's what I want you to remember. No one's coming to save you. And that's the best news you'll ever hear. Because the person who can change everything is already here. If this message resonated with you, leave a comment below. Share what part hit home the most. Not for the algorithm, but because your words might reach someone who needs them tonight. And if you found value in this, consider subscribing. Not just to this channel, but to the version of yourself that shows up every day to live with strength, clarity, and calm. This is StoicCraft, where philosophy becomes power, and where you learn to walk alone, not as a victim, but as your own hero.